We might actually finish with these topics today.
Yay. We're so good at being on track.
Yay. I crossed out the wrong one.
We'll talk about that one now.
Just talk about it again. Something kind of annoying with our original gaming group is that, in fact, actually, yeah, I'm going to tell a brief story before I talk about this specifically. You weren't here when this was, like, officially created, but when we were joining the game, he made, like, I'm not going to say the name of it, but his, like, group's Facebook group. Yeah, it essentially allowed him to keep in touch with, like, his old gaming buddies. I remember I eventually, like, got put into that. I was kind of disappointed that, like, not much got posted ever.
Yeah, we have the same thing, and I try to post on it at least 2 or 3 times a week.
But I remember one day, this was still when we were, like, bringing, like, food and stuff. Like, well, I usually brought, like, desserts or something. And he was complaining to me that, like, I didn't ask anyone else. Or no, I didn't get this one message that they needed this. It was something actually kind of important that I probably could have got had I known about it. He was like, well, why didn't you read the group message? And I was like, nothing's been posted. What do you mean? And then to find out, oh, he actually has like a group chat that I haven't been invited to. I say all that because something I notice a lot with that other group is that there's just a lot of things I was never made aware of that everyone else apparently knew about. With that, I want to transition to GoofBallz is like a gaming friend, because there's a lot of things that I've heard that, like I said, I just wasn't aware of. Like a lot of things that happen outside of game, as a result of the game, that I'm not made aware of. If you wanna, I don't know if you remember anything specific, but
I don't really remember anything specific. I know, he talked a lot about people behind their backs.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. If somebody did something that upset him just like the smallest, he'd be sending out a chat to like the other 6 people that weren't involved at all. He would always try to, like, every single day he'd try to hang out with people. You know, knowing that the rest of us worked and everything. At the time, I don't think he was employed. But, like, just every single day, it'd be something else that he wanted to do. Every single day. Or, you know, play D&D 4 times a week.
I heard he got annoying with that, actually.
For sure.
He wanted to hang out a lot.
At one point, there was a Saturday game, a Sunday game, a Tuesday game, and a Thursday game. So that is over half the week you're playing D&D.
And then he got mad if you didn't, like, respond to him or something.
Yep, he'd get mad. When I was getting prepared for my wedding or whatever, I told him I wasn't coming for a month. And every Friday, like Friday night, I get the same message. You going to be here tomorrow? No, I told you I'm not going to be there for a month. And then Saturdays, I'd get, like, he'd send me, like pictures and stuff of everybody playing or whatever and be like, oh, we miss you so much. Why aren't you here? Like, I've got other stuff I got to do. I've got to be an adult.
I remember those pictures. I just don't remember. I didn't remember what they were for.
Just send to me.
Didn't you do something like that too? Well, when we eventually split, you like send him pictures or something, or were you just like posting them and then he was still able to see them? I could have swore you did something like that,
I don't know.
just to be like, hey, look how much fun we're having.
Oh, that was yeah. Was posting them and tagging everybody in them.
Oh.
He still does that, but now he has this all blocked, so it don't matter.
No.
But as far as anything super specific, I don't quite remember anything.
I do remember like how the Facebook chat eventually ended.
Oh yeah.
Ironically enough, I was the one person who probably could have responded because I really wasn't doing anything. I just didn't feel like responding. But he was essentially like, he was reaching out to the group to be like, hey, is everybody going to be there tomorrow? And like no one would respond
I
at
think
all.
at that point, me, Aegis, and White Boy had all pulled out.
White boy.
I forgot what we were calling
White
him.
guy. Or Ragna. Or...
We'd all pulled out at that point.
All
And
right.
we're not showing up, so you're pretty much the only person he was talking to, I think. Well, I think he was talking to all of us, but
Yeah.
the other three of us knew we weren't coming. So
And then pretty sure Xena was still there too.
yeah, but wasn't she living with him at the time?
No. Wait. Maybe. I think she had to work too. She worked at like delivery.
Yeah.
So she... And then just doesn't use phones. He's weird. But he's cool.
Yeah, he was a pretty cool guy. I didn't know him very well, but I never had anything against him.
Speaking of dust, I'm gonna take a sip of water real quick. Doesn't have to do anything with dust, but
Dusty throat.
yeah, dusty throat. So after the big split, and I think like a few weeks afterwards, I was eventually contacted by Xena, asking me if I wanted to play in like a not D&D game. It was going to be run by Dust. It was based on Fallout, something I have to this day not played, actually. But I was like kind of interested. I remember Dust was actually talking a lot about how he had this Fallout game. It was based on the map of where we currently live. Well, the entire state, actually.
Oh, so it was actually based in North Dakota?
Yes.
That would have been actually pretty cool.
It was. Yeah, he actually had like a lot of the locations. He had like maps of like the Minot Air Force Base.
Yeah.
It was. Well, I eventually joined, and I found it was actually like a pretty interesting time. I believe the players were some guy. I'm gonna call him Lilith because I kept confusing him with the other character from the same game, Xena, and Bulgarval. Something interesting about that campaign, even though we had like combat abilities, I didn't actually get into the time I was there, we didn't get into a single bout of combat. It was like a war game, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
A war strategy game, where like black operative. I don't know what the full word for that is. Probably black operative, but black ops kind of people salvaging the land. We've got like this base somewhere, looking for things.
It's very descriptive.
Yeah, no. I mean, to be honest, I think I was freaking out more about the character sheet than paying attention to like the things that we were doing. But I do remember Bulgarval was not insufferable.
Really?
He was actually like, I mean, I was only there for like 2 times and the game ended, but he was actually helpful. He was like, at our base we had a main dude who went out and did stuff. He was that dude. He also did a lot of like record keeping. From what I can gather, he was also like he was a bit like our rogue, actually. There it is. He went out on like scouting missions. He was super stealthy. He had like spy missions and stuff. Everyone seemed to get along with him, including me. I'm sorry, I'm like blanking a lot of things. The only thing I can remember is that it was actually a pretty cool time. And then this other thing that brought me to this topic. I remember eventually you know how we squirrel a lot?
Oh yeah.
Especially in that like other group.
Yep.
We just like the game would completely stop and we go talk about other things.
Yep.
A bit like this podcast actually.
Yeah, pretty much.
We eventually got to that point. He was talking about he wanted to run a Star Wars campaign that we eventually played actually. That eventually led into the discussion about Star Wars. Probably because I mentioned like, hey, I don't know anything about this. And he was explaining like a lot of cool things actually about Star Wars, like how it's like a lot of it is community built. How a lot of things that like the fans have created eventually made their way into the movies.
Yep.
Mace Windu's purple lightsaber.
I think that was just he wanted a purple lightsaber.
Yes, he explained that the only reason it was purple is because he wanted it purple. It again also a pretty fun time.
Mm-hmm.
Like just talking with people. I feel like this podcast a pretty fun time. In fact, I'm pretty sure we had so much fun just talking about anything other than the game that we went on for like an hour just talking. A bit like this podcast.
Shameless plug.
Watch the podcast. I know you're watching it, or listening to it, but we realized like, oh, it's getting super late. We should probably get back to the game that we're here to play. And then, because earlier in the day, I haphazardly explained some of the reasons why we had left. That cooled off a lot quicker than I expected it to. Something, I eventually kind of referenced it, mentioning like, hey, wait a minute. Do we really have to play the game? Because like, we seem to be having so much more fun doing this. I don't think it's necessarily a game that you want to play. I think you just want friends that you hang out with. Like, I don't know if you've seen that one panel. I think it's Batman. I might be just Justice League. Where like Wonder Woman has Superman and Batman in the Lasso of Truth.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What are your names?" And like Superman, of course, Clark Kent, or Kal-El.
Kal-El, yeah.
Yeah, and then Batman's just like, "I'm Batman." Like the most badass thing ever. I mentioned that to say like, I think for him, D&D was always the mask. D&D is never what he wanted to do. It was the excuse.
Yeah, I could see that.
What he actually wanted, maybe he didn't know. But it wasn't D&D. This is the story of a man who wanted to hang out with friends and didn't know how to do that effectively. But
at the same time, he was also a jerk about a lot of things too when it came down to that. Like,
well, that's where the effectively comes from.
Yeah, if we did go out and do something besides D&D, like did you come with us to see I don't know if it was Justice League or if it was might have been Avengers 3.
Probably not.
Okay.
I saw Black Panther with him.
Yeah, it was Black Panther.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember, like, he was just, like, people were being, like, somebody's phone went off or something.
Oh, yeah.
And he, like, spazzed out on them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's annoying, but, like, you know.
Yeah, he actually got way too quick to anger.
Yeah.
When it came to, like, disruption. Except for, like, those, like, drunk girls. But I think it's probably because Jay did it for him.
Yeah. Probably. And that's one thing, too. Like, I know Jay won't admit it, but they're very, very similar. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I do.
It's not just the one obvious thing either. It's, like, multiple things.
Oh, I've already explained that they're gay, so.
Okay. It's not just the one obvious thing, being their sexuality, but it's, like...
It's 2018. I think people can handle it.
Yeah. Is it 2018? It's almost 2019, bro.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
where this goes up, it might be 2019, but...
it is now January 23rd.
Yeah.
2019. Wink. That being said, like, I've always said that, like, I think there's a group, and for D&D anyways, for everybody. So he'll find a group.
I think he has, actually.
That's good. I hope he sticks with it. Obviously, the group that we have was not the group for him.
Yeah.
And
at the same time, we realized we were the group for each other. Yay.
Hearts.
Love hearts. Friendship bracelets. Do people still make those?
Yeah, we have friendship bracelets.
We do?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, I never...
Wear yours.
Cute, like... Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So that's where I'm at. Like, am I sad it didn't work out? No. I feel like we've got a lot better group that all gets along. We haven't had like any quarrels or anything. It's been nice.
Yeah.
And we've been, 5 or 6 months now. It's been
I think so, yeah.
something like that.
Story of a misguided man. Well, in my opinion, misguided man who wanted too much and too little at the same time.
I could agree with that. All right.
Save the other stuff for next time.
Yep.
Next time we'll
I'll
be
be
back
back
with like some lighter topics. Probably some old topics by the time it comes out, but some lighter topics.
Just a little spoiler if you like magic. We're going to talk about magic.
Yes.
And not like pulling a bunny out of a hat. Even though that'd be pretty cool to talk about too.
We can talk about that too. That being said, I've been Fake Namerson. That has been Dude in the Hat. And we'll see you guys next time.
See y'all.